All, I think we are recording. Hello, this is Rolf from Waves and Positions, and we're starting our first video today. Now, I'm probably going to break every rule by looking down at papers and looking around the room, but I just got to get started here with our first video. So, for those of you who don't know, back here we've got Halo Bridge Hospital on the island of Halo Bridge, and Halo Bridge Hospital's here. Today, I'm going to be sharing a really cool story with you. My son was doing something with soil and minerals, and so I sent this to him to school. This here is actually a piece of glass, natural glass rock that my father got when he lived in Iran, Tehran, Iran. So we're in a conflict right now, but back in the 60s, Iran was actually like one of our closest allies. And my dad lived there with the army. My dad's father was a civilian worker for the army. And this is one of the souvenirs brought back. So I actually dropped the paper that I was going to read from. I'm going to get down here. Then we're going to start reading this story. So this is a story that's found on my Substack, and it's entitled "The Dust Bowl Was Our Fault, but So Was the Cure." So most people have heard about the Dust Bowl era. It was back in the 20s and 30s where we had farmers that were not rotating crops properly, and it caused soil erosion and these huge dust storms, and people had to just like get out. Most people haven't heard that humans caused the problem and humans fixed the problem. So that's what this story is about. So you can read this on my Substack. I'm going to read it right now so you get a little hint of what other fun stuff's on my Substack. I have almost 200 articles there that you can explore. All right, so the Dust Bowl is our fault, but so is the cure. The Great Plains Shelter Belt and the power of a nation that decided to fight for its future. Now, before the sky turned black, before children coughed up dirt, before 100 million acres of America turned to ruin, there was a promise that the land could be tamed, that wheat would grow forever, that nature could be overpowered. They were wrong. But here's the part no one tells you. We fixed it. Not perfectly, not quickly, but with one of the most ambitious, forgotten acts of environmental recovery in U.S. history, the Great Plains Shelter Belt. And it might just be the most hopeful story you've never heard. I'm getting chicken skin just thinking about this right now. It's so cool. The collapse. How America's breadbasket became a burial ground. In the 1930s, the heart of the United States began to die. After years of aggressive plowing, monoculture farming, and overgrazing, the prairie grasses that had held the soil together for thousands of years were gone. What replaced them were fields of profit and promises, and nothing to hold back the wind. Then the drought came. Entire towns were swallowed by dust storms. Livestock choked and starved. Families packed their lives into rusted cars and fled westward. Over 2.5 million Americans became climate refugees in their own country. It wasn't just a weather event. It was the first man-made environmental catastrophe on American soil, and it was completely preventable. The stakes. When a nation starves, it also breaks. This wasn't just about dry fields. The Dust Bowl was a body blow to America's psyche. The Great Depression had already crushed the economy. Now nature was revolting. Trust in government was vanishing. The illusion of American invincibility cracked. If nothing was done, the damage would not only spread eastward, but destroy the belief that America could solve anything. This wasn't just about soil, it was about sovereignty. The turnaround. When FDR decided to plant a wall of trees. Here's where the story flips. In 1934, Franklin D. Roosevelt signed off on a bold idea, a literal green wall across the continent. His administration launched the Great Plains Shelter Belt, an ecological mega project designed to reprogram the wind. The plan? Plant 100-mile wide wall of trees from North Dakota to Texas. Yeah. Yeah. Let's read that again. Plant 100-mile wide wall of trees from North Dakota to Texas. Trees that could break the wind, trap the moisture, stabilize the soil, and invite back the birds, the bugs, and the balance. From 1935 to 1942, 220 million trees were planted by hand, many by young men in the Civilian Conservation Corps, kids who had never planted anything before, now growing the lungs of the continent. Now here's the win-win. Nature wasn't the enemy, it was the answer. The shelter belt worked. What? Dust storms decreased, soil erosion slowed, rain patterns began to return, wildlife came back, community stabilized, and here's the lesson. The solution to a man-made disaster wasn't domination, it was cooperation. It didn't invent some high-tech fix. We planted trees, millions of them. We didn't run from the land. We healed it together. Now we're going to turn pain into power. What the Dust Bowl teaches us about today, the shelter belt wasn't perfect, but it did something that no modern government seems brave enough to do anymore. Bet on a slow solution. Today, we face new Dust Bowls, digital addiction, collapsing ecosystems, political burnout, rising mental illness, a world choked by anxiety and speed. And the answer might not be in code or algorithms or clickbait. It might be in roots, in slowness, in replanting what we destroyed, not just outside, but inside. What would you personally, what would your personal shelter belt look like? Sorry, messed that up. What would your personal shelter belt look like? Ask yourself that question. A barrier of daily habits, a quiet strength, of things planted today that protect you tomorrow. How to build your own shelter belt system. Identify the erosion. What's the wind that's wearing you down? Social media, sugar, chaos? Pinpoint it. Plant a line of resistance, not with willpower, with strategy. Create buffers, apps off your phone, tech-free mornings, movement instead of scrolling. Grow deep roots. Anchor yourself in something old. Walking, journaling, learning. Time-tested systems you don't have to reinvent. Invite others to plant with you. The shelter belt worked because it was collective. Get your family, friends, or community involved. Make recovery a shared ritual. Trust the long game. Trees don't grow overnight. Neither will you. Stay consistent. Keep watering. All right, here's your final thought. You're allowed to start small. One tree didn't stop the Dust Bowl. Millions did. And your first action today might not fix everything, but it will start something. A windbreak, a boundary, a reclaiming. You don't need a degree. You don't need permission. You just need to begin. This is your shelter belt moment. The dust can clear, but only if you plant the first tree. Reread this article if you need to. You can go to my Substack if you want to reread it or watch this video again. Look up anything that didn't click. This isn't just history, it's a roadmap. Let's stop the next collapse, one quiet action at a time. All right. And then if you go to my Substack, I always put references for further research so you can explore more. And hey, that was my first video. It wasn't perfect. I dropped the paper on the ground. I was looking around. I was reading off a paper. You know, most people have all these rules, but you know, you just got to get started, and just get a little better each time. All right. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one. From Waves and Positions, this is Rolf.